And we're back for the final episode, and it's post-game schlag again. I've already recorded this, and here's the episode. Let's go. Ending. Alright, so I am looking up hints, and conveniently, there has been like a themes and hints guide made for Taiji by the Sojourner, however you pronounce that. And there are hints for the white ones, and I need all of them. Like, I've gone through already and checked them. So we have hint number 1. The puzzle is broken down into 3 parts. Think about how flower designs might fit into each one. And yeah, I mean, like, I only knew 2 parts. Like, 1 and then the environmental thing here. Possibly this one, but I don't see how this could possibly be, like, flowers. Sure, this one looks like a 4-petal flower. This could be, like, a 3-petal flower, I guess, but I don't really know how that would work at all. Or if it's just like, just ignore these, they're not even here, they're just tiles, or something weird, but I needed more after that. The first part matches the 6 flower beds by the area's initial entrance. I already knew that, so that doesn't really do anything. The second part matches the area with the bridges, but which configuration is correct? So that's something I didn't think was even possible. Like, why would it be the bridges? That seems strange. But yeah, I guess we should look at that. And then finally, the third part combines 2 sub-parts. The lower 3 tiles has an environmental clue. So I mean, that's just the thing I was saying, but yeah, what would it be on the right one? That doesn't add up. We need to go this way. So yeah, did need some clues for this one. I don't understand how this would possibly be like a flower. What would this do? Because we already have this all like connected up the way it's supposed to be in that sense. So what else do you do? Like, we can change what these petals do whenever we want. So I don't know how you would think that this would be a proper solution, unless it just literally is this right one. Like, if it's like this, then these are correct, these are correct, these are correct, like all of them are correct. So you would just paint in these flowers in every single tile, which would be really weird if we then have, like, these 9 tiles all have flowers, and then these 6 all have flowers, and then these all have flowers? Is that even, like, possible? That sounds insane. But, I mean, why not? I guess I'll screenshot this, and we'll see. But then here, sure, we have empty tile, this one, an empty tile. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, but these ones, why they would be anything, I have no idea. And we would have to, oh yeah, we have to go this way to get up there. Oh boy, yeah, it's getting to that weird part where, like, it's too long for one video, but short enough that it probably won't be 2 videos. But I guess I'm just gonna keep recording, and, like, we'll see what happens. If things go so long that, like, okay, I have to split this up into 2 episodes, then I will, without an intro and outro and stuff like that. But for now, I'll just keep going. Because, I mean, it is just this left, I think. But I don't know how you could get 1 flower per tile here, other than, like, okay, this one only has this symbol or something. This one only has this symbol, but that's not, like, a theme. And that, like, here... No. Was there any other hint about this? Solution 1, Solution 2? I don't know. I haven't looked at Solution 1 or Solution 2, and I don't understand what they mean by Solution 1 and Solution 2. Because I just want to know what this part is, because that... Oh, I didn't see anything. This one. Oh, I think I only saw these anyway. 2 subparts. Unless it is just like these are literally empty tiles and it's just 1 tile here, but that can't be right. There's no way that's right. And it doesn't make sense for this to be anything else. Like, again, this looks like a flower, sure. This could be like a 3-petal flower, sure. But what else? And it's not just that, like, it's always the center tile that has a flower or something. It's not that either. I'm gonna look at more. Yeah, okay, I mean, that's what I assumed. And then the central tile in each floor puzzle matches what it is in the white area puzzle. The central tile? Oh, in that sense, just like, it's empty here, so it's empty, it's nothing. Oh, okay. I mean, that is so vague. That is so insanely vague that, okay, you're just supposed to assume that out of all of these, it's the center tile, that, like, this is a 2-petal flower, this is nothing in that specific tile, nothing, and so on. I don't know. That seems so vague when you have to do this, and figure out this part, and figure out this part, and figure out this part. Like, that just seems too over the top, in my opinion. That is just way too ridiculous compared to all of these other ones. Like, this one is just far too vague and convoluted compared to the other ones that have, like, 1 environmental clue, maybe 2. This is, like, 3 different, well, technically, like, 4 different sections that you all have to interpret in the perfect way that the game wants you to interpret them, and there's no way you would know how to interpret that. So yeah, this is probably the only one out of these final white puzzles that I very much do not like. I just don't think that's reasonable, personally. But, like, we'll get to do a solution, I guess. So yeah, it really depends. If it's just the solution, and then we're out, then 1 episode, maybe, with heavy cutting. But if there's, like, more to it, like a lengthy outro or whatever, then, yeah, this is probably the 2nd episode you're watching right now. So now we gotta, like, paint this all. And, I mean, just give me a while. I'm just gonna, like, paint this, I guess. Because, yeah, it would take a long time, so I'll be back. Alright, here it is. Pretty messy. But I can see that we can immediately just start on this one. And, of course, it probably doesn't matter. No, it does matter which... No, it shouldn't matter, like, if this is white or black. As long as we make these 2 white, this one can be white or black. Right? Or no, I'm not thinking about that, right? That, like, yeah, the ones outside here, even though they're black, they're always like, what this one isn't, yeah. So this has to be white. And then this one is already done, so this now has to be black, Wait, no, that one doesn't have to be black. This one is happy. No, yeah, it does have to be black. Because this one needs to go in here, this one needs to go in here, which means this one has to be black, which now means these have to be white. This one needs 1, so this has to be black. Which means this one has to be white. Like, this is a convoluted puzzle even when you know what you're supposed to do. This is a convoluted panel just in and of itself. I really just think this one is, like, a bit overtuned compared to the difficulty level of the other ones. You could have removed, like, 1 to 2 steps of complexity, and then it would have been, like, on a decently level plane. So now, because we have these 2 white, this one has to be black. And this one has to be black. Now these are both, like, fulfilled, so these have to be white. And this has to be black, this has to be white. This one has to be white. This has to be white here. This one now has to be black, because otherwise it would link up to 2. And don't we have a... No. I was gonna say we have flexibility here, but no. If this one is black, that means this one also has to be black, and then this one... No, yeah. That could be white and white. Like so. But we could also have this one be white and go here, and then this one be black and this be white. So that should be two separate solutions? Hell, we could even... No, okay, yeah. Let's try that, I guess. I'm back here because I didn't have a screenshot of this. I should just take a screenshot of it. Just not that we need it anymore, but just to have that. Give me a sec. Okay. I guess I'll keep going back and forth. So let's start with this section just being... Oh, like that. I'm just gonna alt-tab and not let you see this. You're fine. You'll survive. So we have like this stuff. And then it's either this, and that's correct. And it goes up. But then let's just try. Like, if this one were to be black, that would mean these two would be black. And then this would have to be white. And then this would have to be white. That is also an accepted solution. So yeah, that does work. I like this solution more, though. This one. This one. There we go. I like that more. Yeah. Just slightly too overcomplicated, in my opinion. The other ones were really good, but that one I'm not a huge fan of. And then... white. Bye, Navi. Oh. What, did I save all the people that were, like, trapped as souls or something? What's going on here? Suddenly we're gonna play Stardew Valley. Hello. What? She just doesn't way back? What an ass. Okay. And there goes the credits again. This time in white. That was a beautiful ending, but I'm not entirely sure what I was, like, supposed to get out of that. Like, I don't know what was going on, what that means. I guess you can interpret it as best you want. But yeah, this is definitely a two-parter, by the way, even with editing. I don't know if I should, like, record an extra ending and start, or if I just start it up again. It's kind of awkward for the final episode. But yeah, like I said, not a fan of the garden one, but other than that, the other 8, or other 9, honestly, like, including the teleporter puzzle, I really, really enjoyed those environmental puzzles. Yeah, for me, garden didn't work. I don't feel like that's reasonable to assume that you would make that connection, especially with a, like, 9-tile platform thing. Like, why you would assume that would have something to do with it when it's specifically in the sort of quote-unquote correct position, even though, I mean, there's been many correct positions since you had to ferry it through multiple correct positions to get there, so it's a little weird. And then the whole, like, center tile of this part, and then the environmental clue of this part, it's just a bit much. Too many layers for me. But all the other ones were great, and, like, the best part of Taiji, pretty much. Like, this game really kind of came into its own for the end game for me. Like, I don't really think Taiji does, like, teaching very well early on. There's a lot of problems with a lot of puzzles that are supposed to teach you mechanics and stuff. Not all of them, but many of them, for me, just don't quite work. Like, yes, there's technically logic. That doesn't mean it's a good puzzle just because there is a logical explanation. In my opinion, many of them just didn't teach you well enough. You didn't get enough time or enough, like, eventualities to, like, test out your options and slowly refine your understanding. It was just, like, one puzzle you just have to figure out, and you just have to, like, you know, like the gallery thing, just notice this tiny line and then make, like, 16 assumptions based off of that sure, all have logic in them, but why would you assume all of that? I don't know. It just didn't really work for me in those situations, and obviously it very heavily borrows from The Witness. Like, it's not even... You can't even really say that it's, like, inspired by The Witness. It's almost bordering on, like, a Witness fan game. And it does it well, especially, for me, when Taiji gets to the point where it knows that you know how the game works. It knows that you know all the mechanics, and it's just about, just play the game, just solve the puzzles. That's when it really, like, got good for me. If you had asked me if I, like, would recommend the game back when I was at, like, just finishing the gallery or something, I would have been a little iffy, because I do love the visuals and the music and atmosphere and all of that, and, like, the core mechanics are good, but yeah, it was just very hit or miss at that point. But then, from then on out, the caves, the final puzzles of each area in, like, heaven, well, most of the areas in heaven, and these secret puzzles, they really, like, did some heavy lifting for me and made it much more enjoyable. So at this point, I would say, like, it's worth it just to stick it out to the end, because then it's very satisfying. Except for that garden one, I guess. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, bit unfortunate having to look up a couple, but hey, out of, like, 445 puzzles, having to look up 2 puzzles, could have gone worse, I feel. I feel like that's fine. I'm not gonna beat myself up too much about that. So yeah, definitely a good endgame. Definitely a good atmosphere and visuals all throughout. Some problems along the way, which is kind of inevitable when you're this small of a team and, like, the majority of the puzzles are made by one person. I've said this before, I really think that's, like, almost a bad idea almost always, because, you know, we think differently, people work differently. Some people will disagree with me about, like, how I think some of these puzzles don't work, they don't teach you well enough. There's gonna be people arguing that, no, that it does work. It does work for them, and that's fine. That's how it is. If it worked for you, that's great. I'm sure there were other parts in this game, or other parts in different games, that you don't think work well, whereas other people will say that they worked for them in that situation, you know? Like, people's minds work differently, even with logic. Like, logic is not just one simple thing, and intuition is very different from person to person, so, like, I would say pretty much any kind of large-scale puzzle game that has many, many puzzles would do well with having multiple designers that, like, collaborate and make sure that, you know, not just one person thinks that something makes sense and is logical, because that's how you get a lot of, like, pitfalls in puzzle design. But of course, that's not always reasonable. Anyway, I'm just, like, rambling now, I feel. So, that's Taiji. Again, minor sour note at the end, but it doesn't really spoil it for me. The rest of the ending was amazing, and at this point, I would say the experience overall was very enjoyable. So, thanks for watching Taiji. I don't think there's any reason to go back to this. I don't think there's anything else I missed. Maybe in the future, someone will make a Taiji randomizer. I'm not sure I would play it, but maybe. That seems like it would work out. So I'll see you in some other game. Bye-bye!